Welcome back to VQ Intel. Today we're going to be talking about histograms and drawing them and how to interpret them. Now we use histograms when we're plotting a single quantitative variable. Now histograms are different than bar graphs in one key way. Yes, they differ because one is quantitative, one is categorical, but when you look at them, there's one easy way to tell whether you're looking at a histogram or a bar graph, and I'll show that in a minute. The next one, you have a large number of values. Whereas with a dot plot, you have a small number of values which you draw by hand. A histogram you usually use when you want to draw with a lot of data. You don't need to see the individual values exactly, so you don't need to be able to pinpoint specific data points. And then finally, you want to see the shape of the distribution. Now, like I said in a previous video, the frequency table is kind of the setup for this, but a frequency table doesn't show you the distribution as well as what a histogram will show you. So let's take a look. So here's a histogram. Now most people think it's a bar graph, but the difference between a bar graph and a histogram is a histogram uses quantitative variables, whereas a bar graph uses categorical. And the way you tell the difference is that in a histogram, the bars are touching each other. And that's the key difference. With a bar graph, the bars don't touch each other. And that's because the numbers run into each other. They just flow from one interval into the next. All right. So here, the question is, what is the variable? Well, we look down here. The variable is age. What is the observational unit? Well, you're only going to get age from the 20s to the hundreds, probably from people surveyed. Now, how many people are younger than 40? So right here, this bar is between 20 and 30. And this bar here is between 30 and 40. And there are two, this bar is 2 frequency high, this bar is 4. Now this bar includes people who are 20 years old, but it doesn't include 30. The 30-year-olds belong in this bar. The 40-year-olds belong in this bar. So this first bar goes from age 20 to age 29. But we're not going to put 20 and 29 and 30 because that would just be too close together. So the understanding is this number goes into this bar, this number goes into this bar, and so on, all the way down the histogram. So how many people are younger than 40? Well, that's 39 and below. So that's going to be these 2 bars. So this is 2, this is 4. So that's going to be 4 people. Or sorry, 6 people. Forgot to add them. How many are 35? We don't know. We don't know exactly. But at most 4 people. At least 0. 0 at the least, but 4 at the most. Because if there were 4 people 35, that's all 4 of them right there. How many are older than 55? Not sure. We know that these 3 and these 2, so at least 5 people. And at most, perhaps this whole bar is full of 59-year-olds. That's possible. Sorry, this bar. So that could be 5 more. And so at most, 10 people. And then the last question says, what is a possible data set that created this histogram? So I need 2 numbers from 20 up to 30. So I could say 20 and 21. The next one, between 30 and 40, so 30, 30, 30, 30. Next one, 4 between 40 and 50, so 45, 46, 47, 48. Next one, 5 between 50 and 60. So I could put 59, 59, 59, 59, 59. 3 people between 60 and 70. So that could be 60, 60, and 60. 1 person between 70 and 80. So that could be 75. And then 1 person between 90 and 100. So that could be 99. So that's just one possible data set. Again, they vary by tens, so as long as you put the numbers in within that 10 range, you're good. Next example. Below is the data gathered from this class answering the question, how many states have you visited? So what is the observational unit? Students. Because I took it from this class. So we want to draw the histogram. So here our lowest is 3 and our highest is 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by 4s. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and I'll put the 20 right there. All right, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 0 to 4, which numbers are we going to include? That's the 3s. Just like that. Next one, from 4 to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be a little bit higher. And then 8 to 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 16 to 12 to 16, that includes the 15. So that's 1 right there. 16 to 20, there's actually none, because the 20 doesn't belong here in this interval. It belongs here from 20 to 24. Now, what some people do when they draw a histogram, they not only mark the frequency, but they also put numbers on each bar just to help remind people of how high each bar is. And that's purely up to you. But let's label this states visited. In a previous video, I forgot to do this, but this is part of the graph, is to label it so that people know what the variable is that they're looking at. So here, below is the data gathered from this class answering the question, how many hours have you slept in the past 24 hours? So this is students. So we want to draw this histogram. So this time I'll go from 4 to 12, and I'll break it up like this. Hours slept. And this is frequency. So how many from 4 to 6? Only 2, because 6 goes in the next bar. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The next is 8 to 10, but we only include the 8s and the 9s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 10 and 11, that's going to be 3, like that. 2, 4, 5, 3. So there is what that histogram looks like. All right. If you want to support the channel, the links are all down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best way to understand something is to do it.